All right.
Okay, cool. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 20-year gap. Kylie and I we've just finished work.
Yep, so we're in our dags. But that's okay. This is how we're going to come to you. We're going to be in our dags most of the time because when we're working and then we finish work, we come home, we have a glass of wine, and then, of course, we get creative and we start listening to some awesome stuff.
Yeah.
And we just chat.
And we just chat. And that's basically where this podcast is inspired from, is because we do get into such good chats and we're just like, okay, cool, we want to like approach this and talk about this. So anyway, one thing we were talking about, share the shit out of it.
That's it.
So one thing we were talking about today is change and changing your mind, and how we've both changed our mind a lot. Like
more so for me because I've got like 20 years on you. So I've changed my...
This is true.
I have been told that I've had more starts than a racehorse. And back when I heard that, I was a little bit offended. I thought, you know what, that's actually quite nasty. I took offense to it. But now I can actually say that I'm really proud of that statement because I haven't just settled. And I haven't just listened to what somebody else's ideals are, what somebody else's opinions are. I haven't just stuck with something and just gone in and worked in a shitty job that I absolutely hated to earn some money to pay the bills. Yeah.
Tell everybody a little bit, so anybody that doesn't know us, tell them a little bit about your experience and where you've come from, throughout your life, like all the cool things you've done in terms of like job wise. We're talking like business wise, career wise, life path wise.
Yeah. Okay. So mediocre family, mediocre life, mediocre dreams. Actually, I didn't even dream back in the day. It's only really been the last maybe 6 years that I've actually decided to dream. So where you are now, I probably started doing that, I don't know, in my 30s. I think when I hit my 30s, that's when it all started.
Is that because you didn't know you could, or
totally?
And you just were conditioned to think that wasn't an option for you, or?
I grew up in a small town. I grew up on a 25 acres, and I had my horses, and that was my contemplating time. I used to go for a horse ride, and we had a fantastic childhood, don't get me wrong. It's just that I wasn't challenged. Yeah. And through school, I wasn't challenged. I wasn't surrounded by people that challenged me. I wasn't surrounded by people that made me go, okay, so what do you want to do? Where do you want to be? How do you want to do this? And what really lights your fire? And I don't think I ever had that question asked. Whereas this is what I'm now asking my children is what lights your fire? What gets you up in the morning? What makes you feel good?
It's a pretty good question.
Because that's the stuff that makes you want to, I don't know, that's the stuff that energizes you. Yeah. That's the stuff that makes you, like, we're cleaners right now.
But it's COVID. We're having fun. You know what? It really is. And this is something that I laughed about when Kylie first asked me to come on board, because my job prior to this, I was a luxury diamond specialist in the Caribbean and Bahamas.
Like how many millions of dollars were you wearing?
Like, I've got photos of me within $2 million of retail, like jewelry worth. Like it was awesome. So obviously coming home for COVID and I was like, oh, I'm going to go from selling diamonds to cleaning houses. But you know what? It's paying the bills.
Yep.
It's paying the bills. I'm saving up for when the world does open again. Mm-hmm. I love the company. Yeah. Love the company. And look what's been born of it as well.
Totally.
If we didn't...
I love COVID for that.
Yeah. I'm very grateful. Obviously, COVID's not a
no.
It's not the most positive thing that's happened to the world, but in some degrees you've got to make the best of your situation, which we have.
Yeah. And that, again, it comes down to making sure that you surround yourself with the right people, the people that challenge you, the people that make you think, the people that want to, I don't know, just poke you a little bit to go, so what's next? Yeah. Instead of just settling. I cannot even imagine sitting in an office working for somebody anymore. And that's where I used to be. I used to be an office admin kind of chick. I loved it at the time. I've worked for the helicopter, doing fundraising stuff. I've created events. I've worked at the TAB. I've worked in cafes. I've been in real estate for many years, in sales. I've done a ton of stuff. And that's the personality type that I am too. I jump in, I have a crack at it. Yeah. Do I like it? Yes, I do. Let's stay. Do I not? Okay, let's bugger off out of here and let's start again. And that's the racehorse thing, is that I've had more starts.
But you've also done incredibly well, because not many mums can turn around and say for the past 2 years you've been working from home with your own home business. You've had the pleasure of spending time with your family and spending time with your kids. And like, not many people can say that they're stuck in their night. And if they don't have that 9 to 5, you know, this is what a lot is coming out with COVID as well, is, you know, if you can't go to your brick and mortar job, what do you have? And it is such an age of information, and
the internet. The internet is just
phenomenal. Yeah.
And honestly, like, I've had conversations with my girlfriends as well about our kids. Our kids are all the same age. And will they go off to university? Will they just go off and get a job? Will they go traveling for 12 months? Will they do a gap year? Like, what is going to happen for them? For me, and listening to Kira chatting to you, because I realised 20 years gap here, but between my daughter and you, it's 11 years.
11 years,
to the month. And Kira this is Kira's dream, sitting beside me, and then this one goes, well, when I'm done with you and you're too old to be my friend, I'm just going to be besties
Kira
with your daughter.
and I are going to be besties when she's legally old enough to drink wine.
But yes, right. Oh, that's all it's about, right?
I'm just
That's
kidding.
Okay. That's okay. There's
Kidding.
a few years.
But our best ideas have been born off a good bottle of wine.
Oh, God, yes.
Like, to be true. But now I do want to just jump it back to, I do actually really want to ask you, when you were my age, so when you were 25, 26, what did you see for were you married? Were you married? You weren't with them?
No,
so what did you see for your future?
I was with Glenn at that time. We'd just not long met, from memory. It's a long time ago. A long time ago. So we'd met and we were just doing life. So we were camping and we were doing all the singles, like the no children lifestyle stuff. We travelled up to Cairns, did a working holiday, all that stuff. Did we have hopes, dreams, wishes, all that sort of stuff? Probably not. It was more about what's next, about the settled down stage.
Yeah.
Which is kind of just crazy now that I think about it. Like, yes, we travelled Australia, kind of on the eastern seaboard and stuff. But there was no, oh my gosh, let's plan something for the next 5-10 years.
But times were different back then as well. As obviously you didn't have social media, you didn't see everything that was possible, you didn't see the rest of the world as easier, and travel wasn't as, like, it
wasn't as close.
You could jump on a plane tonight and be halfway at the other side of the world literally in 2 days.
And much
obviously
cheaper.
Not right now. But
and
much cheaper. Yeah.
But and it was much cheaper. So what you're now living is completely different to what we lived. Ours was all about having the good job, settling down, having buying the house, having the family, and doing all of that, which is what we did.
I had that belief system growing up as well. That's what I was taught. However, I grew up in South Africa. I was born and raised in South Africa. I grew up in South Africa. Now, in South Africa, it is very much so, obviously there's lots of racism problems there and racial issues there and crime and all sorts of things, but it's gotten to the point now where my parents knew when we were living there, if I did not go to university, I would not get a job. I would not have a life. Like, even your most basic jobs, if you don't have a university degree, they will not even consider you.
Is it still like that there?
It's still like that, but it's gotten a lot worse. That's a conversation for another time. That's a conversation for another time. And any South Africans that are watching this will understand entirely. Mm-hmm. But a lot of my friends are struggling now. You know, they can't get jobs. They're just very, and even with university degrees, they can't get jobs. Anyway, I was very, 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 very extremely blessed to be taken out of South Africa, kicking and screaming. Let me tell you, I was not the easiest person to move at 16 years old. But I'm very grateful to my parents. And my parents in South Africa, they don't have, like you have in Australia, like a HECS debt. And I don't know what they have overseas. You can't get student loans. There's no such thing. So if your family could not afford to send you to university you did not get a scholarship, you didn't go.
Wow.
So that was another reason why my parents were so adamant to get us out of South Africa and we moved to Australia, was because university was more possible here. You could go to university here. So when I turned around and I said to my parents, hey, guess what? I'm going to put off uni for now.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to put it off. I was enrolled and accepted into Griffith University in the Gold Coast.
To study what?
Business and communications. It was a double major degree, business communications. I was accepted. I was going to go. That's why I moved up to the Gold Coast as well.
Right.
Then I decided I became a personal trainer. And I decided that I'm going to put university off for a year because I thought I was going to become a millionaire with my personal training, which every personal trainer on the Gold Coast thinks they can do. Mm-hmm. It's not very easy. No, it was fine. It was great. I had an amazing experience doing that up on the Gold Coast. But it just ended up getting pushed back another year and then another year and then another year to the point where I actually got involved in a business. Someone actually came to me with another. I joined a multi-level marketing business. Now, I had absolutely no idea what they were at the time. I had absolutely no clue. However, this business had been around for many, 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 many years. And I got taken into the training. Basically, they had these weekly meetings that you would go to, and they would talk about motivation and training and possibilities. And I started to see that this is where I kind of got my awakening, my eyes open. Were you? I was 2013. I was
7 years ago.
Maybe 18, 19.
Wow.
Yeah, 18, 19. And friends took me to these meetings, and this is where I was like, oh my God, you can make more, like you can make stupid money. And it's possible. And I've always known deep down inside that was where I was going to go. I was going to influence somehow. I was going to be somebody somehow. I've always just known that deep down inside. Like, and I wanted to share.
That's really you.
You
like
think so?
I think that you're actually very in tune with who you naturally are.
Yeah. Well, yes, but then limiting beliefs and self-consciousness and stuff often comes in, but it does. I put on a very confident exterior, but a lot of it is put on not on for show, but definitely I have limiting beliefs and people constantly telling me at 18 years old, you're too young to do this. Can't do this. You can't do this. You can't do this. And at this stage, I was struggling with that because I still haven't gone to uni. I'm now 2 or 3 years out of school. Most of my friends are halfway through their uni degree. They're now talking about, the settling down. And I just knew in my core that wasn't me. I just knew in my core that I wasn't going to go. I have cousins and friends that have done these extensive university degrees, 2 or 3 different degrees, but are not using them. And they've got hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. And I was like, I'm not going to go to uni. And I'm not saying uni is bad. I think uni is great if you want to specialize in something, if you want to become particular in something you want to do. But I don't think school, this is what we were talking about. I don't think school, and this is what all the, the great people that we listen to, like, Gary Vee and Tony Robbins and Joe Dispenza, and they all say school is great to teach you how to become a worker bee, how to work till you're 60 and then enjoy life. And I was like, nah. I would pull my hair out. So I needed to follow my passion and I needed to do things. So this is coming back to where we changed our minds. Like every single year of my life since I've left school, my life has been completely different. I've lived in Port Macquarie, then I moved to the Gold Coast, then I moved back to Port Macquarie. So I was a PT in Gold Coast and worked for Nike. I worked at the Nike outlet store, which is really cool there. Then I moved back to Port Macquarie to run the restaurant. My family bought a restaurant and we ran the restaurant, and I worked as a bartender in nightclubs, and I worked myself silly, but had an absolute blast. And the fella I was dating at the time got a professional contract in Central Coast, and then we moved to the Central Coast. And when all of that changed and kind of that all unraveled, I was like, I need to actually follow my heart and get out and explore the world a bit more. We just gone to Bali.
We did.
We had just gone to Bali. Yeah, I'd done a cruise. I was actually on the cruise. I had done a cruise. I hadn't traveled in so long because I was working so hard. So I've gone from personal trainer to restaurant manager to the Central Coast. I was a national sales manager for a finance company. Yes. And I was traveling all around Australia and making like exceptional good money. For a 21-year-old, I was making exceptional money. We had a top floor penthouse apartment overlooking the water, overlooking the stadium in Central Coast. I had a beautiful fancy car. Like I was wanting for nothing, but I was so miserable. Yeah. I was so unhappy and so miserable. And I didn't understand. I was like, I have everything that I'm supposed to have. I'm doing everything I'm supposed
of what everybody told you what you should have. But deep down inside, that's what I'm saying. You were always really connected, but you didn't act on it necessarily, but you knew it was there. Yeah. You were listening to it all the time. A lot of people don't listen to it. No. A lot of people just think that they're sick or they're miserable or their love life, their relationship's not right or whatever.
But it's also fear.
Actually, the fulfillment.
Yeah, but it's also fear.
Yeah.
Because I was like, do I give up everything
Yeah.
Do I give up everything? I've got this great job. I've got
you did,
this great life. And I literally gave up everything. I went on a cruise.
That's right.
And I loved it so much. And by the second day of cruising, I was like, this is me. Like something deep down inside of me said, this is me. I have to do this. And I did. I came back from that cruise.
Yeah, we met for a drink.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I loved it so much. I'm going to work on the cruise line.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? You're like, yep, I'm doing it. I'm going down. And then I
literally came back. I just applied. I quit my job. Well, I gave notice for the job. I started training someone else up. And then we went to Bali. And then I went to Thailand. I went to Thailand for a while I waited for my ship assignment. Came straight back from Thailand, packed up my stuff. And
see you later.
See you later. Yeah, I went and worked on the ships. But even on the ships, I changed my mind a lot. I did what we called on Carnival Fun Squad for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved that. But when I got to the point that I realized I've gotten as far as I can and as I want to with this position, I want to change it up and I want to change to something else. So again, I just changed my mind and I ended up resigning from that job, coming back to Australia.
And
I just wasn't. I know. No, this was last year.
Oh, that's right.
This was last year.
Yes.
Came back to Australia for like 2 weeks.
That's right.
Got bored.
Yes.
Booked a last minute flight to Europe.
Yes.
Traveled all around Europe.
Right.
While I was in Europe, I applied for a visa to Canada.
Yep.
And I just decided I want to go to Canada for a little while. And I went to Canada for a little while. I had an absolute blast there until it turned winter. And I realized I hate the snow and I hate the cold. So as soon as it got winter and it started snowing, I was like, get me back on the ships. And then I went back to the ships and I was just loving it. So basically the roundabout way, this is a little bit inside us and who we are. The roundabout way of talking about changing our minds is every single year in my life, my life has been different.
And you are so happy.
Oh, I'm so happy.
And you are so full of energy.
Yeah.
And you are just like you just beam like And that's the thing. I think most people, if they feel like they haven't quite got it yet, it actually doesn't matter. It's just another stepping stone in the direction of where you want to go.
Yes.
But you need to try it, or at least learn about it to know whether it's for you or not.
Yes. And don't be afraid to change your mind. We were just watching something. We're big fans of Gary Vee, and we're very passionate about some of the teaching that he has. So if you have never heard of him, definitely check him out. If you have heard of him, he's got a new movie or show out, like an extended show out that's on changing your mind and how he always changes his mind to fit the circumstances, because now the world is changing so fast.
And we just have to move with it. We have to be pliable. You just have to roll with the punches right now. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're going back in lockdown. Look at Victoria. Like, it's just, the world has gone a little bit crazy, and it's just a matter of just going, you know what? Just shake the shit off and feel like just move in a direction that makes you feel right. Yeah. And it could be just, we're podcasting, we're doing these videos. Do we know what we're doing exactly? No, we're not professional at it, but we're going to give it a crack. We're going to...
Literally no makeup. I have cat hair all over me. But we were talking about this and we were like, this is exactly where we need to start recording because...
And doing it dirty. Emma Priestley. Emma Purcell. She says, do it dirty. And we're allowed to do it dirty. We don't have to be professional. We don't have to know exactly what we're doing every step of the way, because we learn. And this is why we're coming to you, is that we've learned through experience. We're not textbook people. We're not going to write a book and tell you how to do it on just the ideals. This is literally, this is our life. This is what we've done. This is what we wouldn't do it again, or this is what we would do again. Yeah. And we're just bringing that to you, and take from it whatever you want and turn it into something that can be really helpful.
But also what we'd love to get across, like if you are in any sort of position where you are not happy, if there's anything going on in your life where you are not happy, change it. Change it. You have every resource and opportunity and anything. You're in a bad relationship, you can change it. You can figure it out. I know it's not easy, but you and your happiness is the most important thing, because if you're not happy and you don't love yourself, how are you going to serve the people around you? Yeah. So a relationship, for example, is, if you're very unhappy in a relationship, that's going to then pour out into that other person, and you're not going to make each other happy, or it's going to pour out into your kids, and your kids want to see you happy. Yeah. or if you're in your job and you don't like your job, just put out into the universe that you want something that's going to make you happy. Like, take 5 minutes, think about what you want.
Yeah.
Have you actually how many people have you sat down and thought about what you want? Like, actually taken 5 minutes to figure out if you could do anything.
What would that be? What would that be? And it doesn't mean that we're not saying quit your job and go do something else. We're literally saying just put some effort, some time, some energy, take yourself away from a situation, sit in a quiet place and just think about you. Like, really look internally and think about what really makes you tick, or what makes you feel fulfilled and happy. You may not even know, because there was a time I sat down with a friend and she said, Kylie, where do you want to be in 5 years' time? And I'm like, I literally lost my shit because I had no clue. There was nothing beyond today.
But so you weren't excited about anything?
Nothing, because I'd forgotten how to dream. I'd forgotten how to plan. I'd forgotten how to do anything. I was so stressed in the moment. It was in a previous business and I was so incredibly stressed. I had little children and I didn't know. And it wasn't until that person asked me that question, then she basically helped guide me through how I might start to dream again, how I might make some changes. So you may not be able to do it on your own, but to listen to other people, to reach out, send us a message. We don't have all the answers.
No, we don't.
But we can certainly listen. We can certainly help if we've experienced something that you might be going through. We can help guide you, whatever.
We have resources that have helped up, like books, podcasts, like
There's
everything.
a lot of amazing people out there.
Yeah,
but you don't know what they are. You don't know who they are until somebody is in your life that starts to deliver that and go, you need to read this because this is what changed my perspective on everything.
But also on that topic of changing your mind, whenever, that was also in school. They always wanted you to have 6-month goals, 12-month goals, 5-month goals, 5-year goals. Sorry, where do you want to be in 5 years? And I could never answer that. Not because I was blank to it, but I've always just, even right now, I have so much excitement for where I'm going to be in 5 years. I have no idea where that's going to be. No idea where that's going to be, but I know it's going to be somewhere amazing. And I'm going to look back. Like, if I look back at my life 5 years ago, like, wow, how much has changed. So I don't worry too much about like the 5 year, just imagine something spectacular for your life. And I promise you, change your mind, change your life. You can do it, and I promise you.
Just a little getaway. We're talking about let's just book a 2-night away somewhere where we can just sit down, create some content, have some really good conversations where we're switching off to the everyday life. Just little things like that. It doesn't have to be a massive holiday. It doesn't need to be a massive change. It's just a step by step in the right direction will help you get to where you want to be. It doesn't have to be this great big crazy leap, which is, I think a lot of people feel like they've just got to make a major decision and a major change and just leap off this friggin' cliff. And it doesn't need to be that. It's
it's small little steps, little things,
for the little things,
and figuring out yourself, like figuring out what's best for you, and then stuff will reveal itself.
Oh, totally.
It'll reveal itself. And so so we're very passionate about this, obviously.
So basically, to wrap that up, that was a very long way of saying it's okay to change your mind.
Yeah.
From today to tomorrow, because guess what? We should be learning every single day. And through those learnings, we realize that what our belief was today, when it's challenged and when we learn something new, all of a sudden we've got a deeper scope of what that thing is or what that story is or whatever, and then we can make a different decision. All the same, it doesn't really matter. I could have exactly the same thought on a something forever, or somebody will walk into my life, challenge me on that thing, and then I'll go, oh shit, I never thought of it like that. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, I'll make some changes.
But you got to be
open
open
to it. And then it releases something.
You got to be open to it.
Totally.
It's scary, but you got to be open to it. But if you don't, then you're living a very sheltered life, unfortunately. And we don't want that for you guys. We don't want that for ourselves. We don't want that we want to share that with everybody else. So again, to wrap that up, if you have any questions or you have any comments or you have any feedback, please let us know. We'd absolutely love to know. You can shoot us a message on Facebook and on Instagram at the 20-year gap, or shoot us an email.
The 20-year gap, but in the TW.
Yeah, spell 20 out. Yeah.
That was a better way of saying it than me trying to
spell it out. Yeah.
So the 20-year gap at gmail.com.
Yeah, we're happy to have a chat. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We've got lots more coming. We've got lots more conversations, some more topics that we want to talk about. And hope you have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye. I hope I hit record.
Oh, I did wonder.